They do not steal your strength with chains, but with illusions. The greatest danger to your power is not what your enemies do to you, but what you choose to believe. In this video, we will strip away the 4 most poisonous lies that enslave rulers, leaders, and men who dream of control. Power is not lost in a single blow. It withers slowly, rotting from the inside, when a man accepts falsehoods as truth. These lies are crafted to make you weak, to soften your will, and to blind you to the brutal mechanics of dominance. The world does not reward honesty nor purity of heart. It rewards clarity, cunning, and the refusal to be deceived. Tonight, I will drag these illusions into the light. And if you are willing to look without trembling, you may reclaim what is slipping from your hands. They tell you that if your heart is pure, if your intentions are noble, then men will rally to your side. They whisper this from childhood. Parents, teachers, priests, each repeating the same illusion. And yet, the battlefield of history is littered with the corpses of those who believed it. Let me ask you directly, have you ever done everything right? Acted with sincerity, only to be betrayed by those who promised loyalty? Have you given trust freely, convinced that your goodness would be enough, only to discover that men remembered your weakness and forgot your kindness? This is the first and most seductive lie that destroys power. That good intentions secure loyalty. Look at the fate of Julius Caesar. He pardoned his enemies, gave them honors, even welcomed them into his inner circle. What was his reward? A knife in the back from those very men. Mercy did not buy him loyalty, it bought him conspirators. History repeats this pattern endlessly. A leader who believes that men are grateful is already halfway to his ruin. Why? Because gratitude is the most fragile of emotions. It lasts only as long as the advantage lasts. The moment a man sees more profit in turning against you, your good intentions vanish like smoke in his memory. You must understand the psychology here. When you act from sincerity, you believe others will recognize it and respond in kind. But the human mind does not work that way. We rationalize. We twist motives. If you grant a favor, men will tell themselves it was not generosity, but necessity. If you forgive an insult, they will not admire your mercy. They will suspect weakness. Do you see how dangerous this illusion is? Your intentions are invisible. Men judge only outcomes, and outcomes are weighed in their own self-interest. Think of it this way. If 2 men stand before a crowd, one honest, one calculating, the people do not see hearts. They see strength, confidence, and results. The calculating man, who knows when to strike and when to conceal, will always appear more trustworthy than the one who merely means well. Because power is not about what you feel. It is about what others believe you can do. This is why princes, rulers, and modern leaders alike cloak themselves in the language of virtue while acting with cold precision. They speak of justice while practicing manipulation. They praise loyalty while sowing fear. They declare friendship while preparing betrayal. And the people, blinded by appearances, admire them more than the one who acts from pure motives, but lacks cunning. Ask yourself, would you rather be remembered as a kind fool or a feared sovereign? Would you rather hold power or hold the illusion of being good while others strip that power from your hands? The truth is harsh. Men follow advantage, not morality. They follow strength, not virtue. They may flatter you when your intentions are noble, but they will abandon you the moment those intentions cost them something. Look at the psychology of betrayal in everyday life. A friend promises loyalty until another opportunity offers him more benefit. A partner swears devotion until someone else promises greater pleasure. Do they betray you because you were cruel? No. They betray you because your sincerity became irrelevant to their gain. This is why rulers who survive never rely on goodwill alone. They cultivate dependence. They make men fear the cost of betrayal. They construct systems where loyalty is not a choice born from admiration, but a necessity born from survival. Good intentions may adorn your speeches, but fear and interest must anchor your rule. Without them, you are a lamb surrounded by wolves, hoping that your gentleness will soften their hunger. But wolves do not respect lambs. They devour them. Reflect carefully. Do you still believe your sincerity will shield you? Do you still believe that purity of motive is a weapon? Or do you begin to see it for what it is? A blindfold that your enemies gladly place over your eyes, so you never see their hand reaching for the knife. The lie of good intentions has destroyed kings, toppled empires, and ruined countless men who believed virtue was power. Virtue without the teeth of strength is decoration for the powerless, and if you wish to hold power, not just dream of it, you must abandon this lie before it abandons you. But beware. Exposing one illusion only uncovers another. For even if you cast aside good intentions, there is another falsehood, equally seductive, waiting to ensnare you. The next lie is more dangerous still. It convinces even the strongest rulers to lower their guard. And when it strikes without mercy. They tell you the world is fair. That justice balances the scales. That if you are wronged, some invisible order will correct it. But have you not already seen the truth? The world does not bend to justice. It bends to force. The belief in fairness is a poison. It lulls you into waiting for balance, instead of seizing it. It convinces you that you can appeal to reason, when in reality, only strength commands respect. Consider the fate of the Roman Republic. Its senators claimed to uphold fairness, the sacred laws of equality before Rome. But behind those marble walls, fairness was only a mask. The wealthy bent the rules, the generals bought the crowd, and the ambitious turned the Senate into a marketplace of power. Julius Caesar did not rise because of fairness. He rose because he understood that laws are weapons, and fairness is a story told to the masses while rulers carve the world as they please. Now ask yourself, how often have you complained about unfairness in your own life? How often have you believed that if you simply wait, if you shout loud enough, if you point to the rules, someone will step in to fix it? But what happens instead? The cunning exploit loopholes, the ruthless bend perception, and the naive cry about justice while their power slips quietly away. This is the cold truth. Fairness is not a law of nature. It is a social invention. A story we tell children to keep them compliant. It comforts the weak, it restrains the strong, but it never decides the outcome. Look at the psychology of conflict. When two rivals clash, do they pause to ask what is fair? No, they calculate. They measure the balance of resources, allies, and timing. They strike when advantage favors them, not when the rules say they should. And the victor writes history in the language of fairness, so that their dominance looks righteous. Do you see the trap? Fairness is not the path to victory. It is the excuse of the victor after the fact. The trial is never fair. The duel is never fair. The marketplace, the marriage, the battlefield. None of it is fair. It is only power cloaked in moral justification. Even in your daily life, the pattern repeats. The promotion at work does not go to the most deserving, but to the one who plays the politics best. The argument is not won by truth, but by the sharpest tongue and the boldest confidence. The lawsuit favors not the most honest side, but the one with deeper pockets and cleverer lawyers. And yet, people cling to fairness like a drowning man to driftwood, unwilling to admit the sea is indifferent. The mind craves order. It wants to believe that good is rewarded and evil punished. This is why religions promise justice in the afterlife. It is why governments promise equality under law. And it is why you are taught, from the beginning, to believe that fairness exists. Because if the illusion is shattered, most men would despair. But despair is not your path. Cold clarity is. If you are to wield power, you must see fairness as a mask, not a law. You must play the game knowing the rules are bent, knowing the judges are bought, knowing the scales are tipped. And you must not cry out at this injustice. You must learn to tip the scales yourself. Think of it as a chessboard. The game is not fair. The white player always moves first. But do you see masters complaining about this? No. They adapt, they study, they turn disadvantage into strategy. So too must you. The powerful never beg for fairness. They manufacture it. They write laws in their favor, cloak their victories in moral language, and present their dominance as balance restored. Meanwhile, those who wait for fairness suffer, wondering why the world never rewarded their patience. You must decide now. Will you be the man who demands fairness, or the one who exploits it? Will you wait for the scales to balance, or will you place your own weight upon them? Remember, this fairness is never given. It is imposed. It is not a principle. It is a weapon, and in the hands of those who understand it, it becomes the justification for conquest. Do you begin to see? The lie of fairness is not harmless. It makes you passive. It blinds you. It convinces you that someone else will ensure justice while you remain still. And by the time you wake from this illusion, your enemies have already decided the outcome. But if you strip away this lie, you gain a new vision. You see the board clearly. You stop asking for fairness. And you start asking for leverage. Yet even this is not enough. For once you accept that fairness is an illusion, another deception lurks close behind. One more subtle, one more dangerous. A fantasy so seductive that rulers have fallen and empires collapsed under its weight. They tell you that to be loved is to be safe. That affection will shield you. That if you win hearts, no one will dare to betray you. But have you not seen the truth? Love is fickle. It sways like the wind. It clings to you in moments of prosperity, then vanishes at the first sign of danger. This is the third lie that destroys power, the belief that universal love ensures survival. Look to history. Consider Louis XVI of France. He believed himself adored by his people, a gentle monarch in a time of unrest. Did their love save him when the mob stormed the palace? No. The same crowd that once cheered his rule dragged him to the guillotine. Or think of Emperor Commodus of Rome. He lavished gifts on the masses, performed in the arena to win their applause, showered them with spectacles. Yet when the Senate and Guard turned against him, the people watched silently as he was strangled in his bath. Their love did not protect him. Because love is not a chain. It is a ribbon that unravels the moment fear or advantage pulls harder. Ask yourself, how many times have you believed that being liked was enough? How many times have you softened your words, played the pleaser, or bent your spine, all to keep the love of others? And what happened in the end? The same people you worked hardest to please discarded you when it suited them. This is human nature. Love is given lightly, withdrawn quickly, and always conditioned on self-interest. A man may love you today for what you provide. But tomorrow, if another offers more, his affection transfers with ease. There is no permanence in it. Psychology reveals the same pattern. People form attachments not out of loyalty, but out of benefit. They love you as long as you satisfy their needs. Status, pleasure, security, advantage. But once those needs are threatened or fulfilled elsewhere, the attachment dissolves. They call it love. But in truth, it is calculation wearing perfume. This is why rulers who survive do not rely on affection. They know admiration is fragile, but fear is enduring. Fear does not vanish with mood. Fear does not turn with the crowd. Fear binds even the disloyal, for betrayal carries consequences. Think of the workplace. The beloved leader, who always listens, who always tries to be kind. How often is he quietly undermined? Employees smile in his face, but they whisper behind his back, testing his softness. Yet the strict leader, the one respected and a little feared, he suffers less betrayal. Not because he is loved, because men hesitate to cross him. Fear breeds calculation, and calculation restrains betrayal far more than affection ever could. Reflect on your own relationships. Perhaps you have tried to keep peace, to be agreeable, to win love through compliance. Did it secure loyalty, or did it invite manipulation? The more you seek universal love, the more you teach others that your need for approval is your weakness. And once they see it, they exploit it. Love cannot anchor power. It is too soft, too unstable. At best, it is a pleasant mask to wear in public. But behind that mask, your true anchor must be respect, authority, and yes, fear. Do not misunderstand me. I do not tell you to be cruel without reason. Tyranny destroys itself, but cruelty with purpose, restraint enforced by consequence, secures your position more firmly than affection ever could. Men will betray a ruler they love if it profits them. But they will hesitate to betray one they fear, even if they hate him. Hatred without power is nothing. Fear without love is control. But love without fear is an invitation to ruin. So I ask you, would you rather be loved and discarded, or respected and obeyed? Would you rather hold a fragile bond of affection or a solid chain of fear? The answer defines the kind of power you will wield. And yet, even if you abandon the lie of universal love, danger still lurks. For power is not destroyed by love alone. It is also destroyed by inaction, by waiting, by trusting that patience itself will deliver what you desire. They tell you to wait. Be patient, they say. Time will reward you. But tell me, how many graves are filled with men who waited for fortune to favor them? How many rulers lost their thrones? Not because they lacked ambition, but because they delayed. This is the fourth lie that destroys power. The belief that patience alone will deliver what you desire. Patience has its place. A hunter waits in silence. A general delays until the ground is firm. But waiting without action is not patience. It is paralysis. It is disguised cowardice. It is the excuse of those too afraid to seize the moment. Consider the story of Darius, Author of Persia. When Alexander marched into Asia, Darius hesitated. He waited for the perfect conditions. He gathered his armies, but delayed striking until Alexander had already carved through his territory. By the time he moved, the Macedonian king had momentum, discipline, and fire. Darius waited for fortune. Fortune chose Alexander. History repeats this truth. Fortune favors the bold, not the hesitant. Rome did not conquer the world by waiting. It struck first, struck fast, and forced others to wait in fear. Those who pause too long give their enemies time to grow stronger, their allies time to reconsider, and their own courage time to wither. Ask yourself, how many opportunities have you lost because you were waiting? Waiting for the right time. Waiting for certainty. Waiting for permission. And while you waited, someone else acted, and now they hold what you desired. Psychology explains this weakness. The human mind clings to security. It convinces itself that delay is wisdom, when often it is fear disguised as strategy. We call it being careful. We call it waiting for the right moment. But beneath the words lies hesitation, and hesitation is the silent assassin of ambition. Your enemies know this. They exploit it. They feed you stories of patience, telling you that rushing leads to ruin. And while you sleep on their advice, they move swiftly, cut off your escape, and take the ground beneath your feet. Think of your own life. Have you ever seen a rival promoted while you remained silent, hoping your turn would come? Have you watched someone seize the partner you desired while you waited for the perfect moment to speak? Have you let ideas wither, businesses vanish, and friendships fade, all because you thought you had more time? The truth is brutal. You do not have time. Power is seized, not gifted. And every moment you wait, someone else is sharpening their blade. But let me be clear, this does not mean you act blindly. Recklessness destroys as surely as hesitation. The key is balance, swift calculation, then decisive action. The lion waits only long enough to see the weakness of the herd. Then it strikes with no mercy. It does not wait for the perfect moment, it creates it. This is what rulers understand. They do not wait for opportunity to arrive. They create it with force, cunning, and timing. They act before others are ready, and then, when the weak finally stir, they discover the game is already over. Reflect again. What are you waiting for now? What chance lies before you, but you delay, hoping for certainty? Understand this, certainty never comes. The world is chaos, and the man who waits for clarity will still be waiting when his enemies close the gates. To act is to risk. To delay is to decay, and decay is the silent victory of your rivals. So what is the lesson? Patience without action is rot. Patience with strategy is strength. Wait only to strike harder, not to avoid striking at all. This is why fortune has always been described as a woman, because she yields to the bold, not the timid. Those who hesitate lose her. Those who act seize her. So I ask you, will you be the man who waits until the feast is over, or the one who takes his seat at the table before others dare? Will you act, or will you wither beneath the weight of endless patience? The world does not forgive delay. It rewards movement. It crowns the daring. But even if you master this truth, another illusion still stalks you. For beyond the lie of patience lies something deeper. A myth whispered into every mind. One that blinds men to the structure of power itself. They tell you all men are equal. They teach it in schools, write it in laws, carve it into the dreams of nations. But look closer. Do you see equality in the streets, in the courts, in the palaces of power? Or do you see hierarchy, silent, unspoken, undeniable? This is the fifth lie that destroys power, the belief that equality exists. It is a comforting myth. It soothes the masses. It makes them feel significant, as though their voice carries the same weight as kings. But history has never been equal, and nature itself is not equal. Consider Sparta. It preached equality among warriors. Yet even in that rigid system, a hierarchy ruled. Kings above generals, generals above soldiers, soldiers above slaves. Equality was an illusion, maintained only to keep men obedient. The moment reality intruded, the system collapsed under its contradictions. Or look to the French Revolution. The cry was liberty, equality, fraternity. Did equality follow? No. One tyranny was replaced with another. The guillotine that cut down kings soon cut down revolutionaries themselves. And within years, Napoleon rose, not as an equal among men, but as an emperor towering above them all. Why? Because hierarchy is inevitable. The strong lead, the weak follow, and those who deny this truth are always consumed by it. Ask yourself, in your own life, do you treat every man as equal? Do you speak to a beggar as you would to a general? Do you offer the same respect to a child as to a judge? No. You adjust your tone, your words, your posture, because instinct knows what ideology denies. Not all men are equal. Psychology proves this as well. People form hierarchies automatically. Even in small groups, roles emerge: the leader, the follower, the outsider. It is instinct, hardwired into the human mind. Children on a playground know it. Prisoners in a cell know it. Soldiers in an army know it. The lie of equality collapses the moment real life begins. And yet, rulers use this myth brilliantly. They tell the masses they are equal because equality keeps them docile. It convinces them that by voting, by shouting, by believing, they share in power. But the truth is simple: the few always control the many, and the many obey, because the illusion of equality keeps them dreaming while their masters act. Reflect carefully. Have you ever believed that your voice, alone could overturn the will of those above you? Have you trusted that fairness, that law, that democracy itself was a level field? And then, were you not reminded, brutally, that some voices carry further, some names weigh heavier, some pockets reach deeper? This is not cynicism. It is clarity. Equality is not a law of man or nature. It is a performance, a costume. And those who confuse the costume with reality lose their place in the hierarchy. Consider the workplace. All employees are said to be equal under the rules. But who rises? The one who obeys? Or the one who maneuvers, networks, and bends perception in his favor? The rules promise equality, but hierarchy decides fate. Now, think of your relationships. Equality in love is preached. Yet in every bond, one leads and one follows. One desires more. One fears more. One holds the advantage, and balance only exists as long as the stronger allows it. The danger of this lie is clear. If you believe in equality, you expect fairness. You expect a level field. And in that expectation, you lower your guard. You forget that the man across from you is weighing advantage, searching for leverage, ready to dominate if you let him. Do not be fooled. Respect the appearance of equality, for appearances matter, but never confuse the mask with the truth. Beneath every system, every law, every oath, there is hierarchy. There is dominance. There is the chain of power. The wise man navigates this chain with eyes open. He does not beg for equality. He seeks position. He does not cling to fairness. He climbs. And if he must speak of equality, he speaks it only to lull others into complacency, while he ascends above them. So I ask you, will you live by the myth or by the reality? Will you be content with the illusion of equality, or will you master the hierarchy that shapes every corner of existence? Remember this: those who dream of equality become subjects. Those who see hierarchy become rulers. And yet even rulers face another deception. For once you climb the hierarchy, once you secure your position, another lie waits to ensnare you. It whispers of permanence. It convinces you that once you hold power, you will hold it forever. That too is an illusion, and the men who believe it are already falling. They tell you that once you gain power, you will keep it. That once you secure your throne, it is yours. That permanence exists. But look across history. Do you see permanence? Or do you see empires rising in glory, then falling into dust? This is the sixth lie that destroys power, the belief that your position is secure. Alexander conquered the known world. He seemed invincible. Yet at the age of 32, he was dead, and his empire shattered into fragments. His generals carved it apart like scavengers. Was his power permanent? No. It lasted only as long as his hand could hold the sword. Or think of the Byzantine Empire. For 1,000 years, it called itself eternal. Its rulers believed God had blessed its permanence. But permanence was an illusion. One day in 1453, the cannons of the Ottomans shattered Constantinople's walls, and the eternal empire ended in fire. So I ask you, what makes you believe your own position is safe? What makes you think your throne, whether in politics, in business, or in personal life, cannot be taken? Power is never owned. It is borrowed. It is guarded only for as long as you can defend it. The moment you relax, the moment you believe it is permanent, it begins to slip from your hands. Psychology explains this danger. Success creates blindness. Once you achieve a position, your brain craves stability. You convince yourself that what has been will continue to be. It is comforting to believe the storm has passed, that you are secure, but this belief is poison. It makes you inattentive, complacent, predictable. And your enemies wait for that moment of weakness. Consider modern rulers. Corporations rise with dazzling speed, then collapse as quickly. Leaders imagine their dominance is unshakable, until a rival innovates, until a betrayal erupts, until the tide turns overnight. Think of Kodak. Think of Nokia. Think of countless kings and companies who thought permanence was theirs, only to be erased from relevance. Ask yourself in your own life, where have you believed in permanence? Did you think a job was secure until the letter of termination arrived? Did you think a relationship was unbreakable until betrayal revealed itself? Did you believe your health, your fortune, your influence would last until time reminded you of its cruelty? The truth is this: permanence is the lie we tell ourselves to quiet our fear. But fear is useful. Fear keeps the blade sharp. Fear keeps the walls guarded. Fear keeps the mind alert. The ruler who survives is not the one who believes in permanence. It is the one who prepares daily for loss, who sharpens his weapons even in peace, who watches the horizon for threats while others sleep. Think of the Roman emperors, the wise ones. Augustus, Marcus Aurelius, ruled with vigilance, knowing enemies conspired always. The foolish ones, like Nero, believed their stage, their pleasures, their crowns would last forever. Nero discovered permanence was a fantasy the moment the Senate declared him an enemy of Rome. He fled, abandoned, and killed himself in despair. Do you understand now? Power is not a throne you sit on forever. It is a fire you must keep feeding. The moment you stop, it dies. So how do you guard against this lie? By living as though you can lose everything tomorrow. By building systems, alliances, and fear that outlast your own hand. By remembering that vigilance is survival and complacency is death. Respect appearances. Speak of permanence if you must, to calm the crowd, to project strength. But never believe it yourself. You must always act as if enemies circle, as if betrayal waits, as if collapse is a breath away. Because it is. So I ask again, do you believe your crown is safe? Do you believe your empire will endure? Or will you accept the truth that permanence does not exist, and only vigilance keeps the throne beneath you? The men who see permanence as truth are already falling. The men who see permanence as illusion are the only ones who endure. But even endurance is not enough. For beyond the lie of permanence lies a darker truth. It is not only others who conspire against you. It is yourself. Your own mind, your own weakness. And if you cannot master that, no throne, no army, no power will save you. Power is never taken by force alone. The sharpest chains are forged in the mind. And the greatest victories are won when people obey you without realizing they have been commanded. Control does not come from shouting orders. It comes from shaping belief, from planting illusions, from guiding desires so subtly that men walk into your service thinking it was their choice. Ask yourself, which ruler is stronger? The one feared for his orders, or the one whose subjects never question that his will is their own? This is the essence of true powers, not open domination, but invisible mastery. Not forcing obedience, but bending perception. Not showing the strings, but making others dance as if the music were theirs. Now reflect. Would you rather live by these strategies, or be ruled by those who already use them against you? Comment your thoughts below. Subscribe for more dark strategies of power, and share this video. Because the fewer who know these truths, the stronger they become for those who do.